Hi there, it's Elaine Fraze, Farm Family Coach, coming to you from my farm in southwestern Manitoba, where our harvest has been delayed by fog and rain, but we're not complaining because we do have some of the weed off and it's better than expected. And my heart goes out to those of you listening to this video who have had really awful crops this year. But today in this blog insight, we want to talk about plug combines and poor communication during harvest. And I just want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Bernie and Lillian Falk, who've just divested of a lot of toy equipment that belonged to their sons who are in their 40s and passed it on to my 3-year-old grandson. And when he saw all this new farm equipment he was getting, he said, "Oh, I never imagined I have such nice equipment." And he's only 3 years old. So thanks to those people who are willing to pay things forward. So today's insight is around plug combines, and when too much material is going through the feeder and the header and everything is plugged up, you know that you've been not operating well or things are tough and you need to pay attention and slow down and get things unplugged. So Alan Vahanalatek, I'm not sure I said his surname properly, is retired now from the University of Nebraska, but he worked a lot with farm families in communication and transition planning. And some of his points I want to build on, and they are appreciation, affiliation, autonomy, your status, role clarity, compensation, feedback, and tracking. And so what does it mean to have better communication? One of them is to appreciate the people who showed up for the harvest and to tell them that you appreciate them. My role in harvest now is to be support for going for parts, but also mostly meal support along with my daughter-in-law. And it is really great to take a lot of time to feed 5 guys hot meals every night at 5 o'clock, 5:30, when I get appreciation for doing so. So I want to remind you that people seek to be seen and to be heard. So don't get your head down. Pay attention to who you're working with and show them appreciation. The other thing is we're all affiliated. We have a South African person who's immigrated to Canada on our team. We have a retired grain elevator manager who's the same age as my husband, who's really good at managing grain. And we have a young graduate with an MBA, plus my son and my husband. And we're not all related, but we're all affiliated because we all want to get the job done. So don't treat people differently just because they're family or non-family. Give deep respect to everyone. And make sure you aren't having a conflict filter, kind of like having your head down or, "Oh, here he comes again. He's plugged the combine again." Why that person can't do a job properly? You're pulling yourself into a downward spiral rather than getting rid of your conflict filter and saying, "Hey guy, what happened? How can I help you? How can we not make this happen next time?" And that sort of leads into the whole thing about autonomy. Be a great teacher, be a good mentor, train people how to operate equipment properly and be safe, and then let them do their job. And don't keep micromanaging. And I hear this complaint quite often from the next gen where they go, "Elaine, my father I can't do anything right, and I'm 45 years old." And so, let's step back here and think about, are you micromanaging? And if you're feeling micromanaged, can you get the message and share your intent clearly and say, "You know what, folks, this just isn't working for me. Can someone else train me how to set the grain monitors on this machine? And let's all work together for the same goal." So your status is, yes, you may be the manager, you may be the head field boss or whatever you call yourself, but give people the opportunity to be mentored well and let them do their job. And if you're the employee or the one being trained, share your feelings about what frustrates you and what helps you. The other thing is, some of you are aging in place on your farms and you're not really sure what stepping back without stepping away looks like. And as farmers age and get into their late 70s and 80s, safety may be an issue, and reflection or reaction time in driving really big equipment, and it may be time to change the roles of what those people want to do. And you're thinking, "Oh, Elaine, my dad has to be in the combine. That's the only place he's happy." Well, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. You're going to have to make some hard decisions about whether or not that's a good idea anymore. And then Lance Woodbury is also in my insight when you read the blog article. Lance is an amazing farm consultant and very keen insights. And he has some insights around compensation, and that our compensation during harvest and all the jobs that we do on farms should be market oriented, with the philosophy of paying for skill and paying for merit. And some of the mistakes that are being made is some of you are being underpaid. You're being paid not on worth. And some of you are being told that the farm can't afford you to pay more than X, Y, Z, which is not fair. And many of you, or some of you, are being paid equally as other people who have higher responsibility and more skill. So think about whether or not the compensation is fair. And when you're on a combine for 13 hours a day, you have a lot of time to think about what's working and what's not. And that's where the next point comes in, which is feedback, the ability to tell people what they're doing well and what maybe management needs to do to support them more. And we have monitors on our combines that tell us all kinds of good information, but we need to be a personal monitor and give feedback to employees and to teammates as to how they're doing. And oh my goodness, there is so much that goes into producing an amazing crop that yields well, and much of it is out of our control, such as the weather, but you get to control your feelings, your reactions, and you get to control your ask and your curiosity, what comes out of your mouth. So I would also encourage you to take your phone, do voice text to yourself, and track things that you don't want to forget while you're on the go. So it's Elaine Fraze, Farm Family Coach, encouraging you not to put up with plugged combines. It's hard to hold up. It's a heavy little John Deere piece. And you'll notice that the auger, some of you have noticed that the auger is missing. And that's because this toy was played with very voracious, very lovingly for many years. But it's still fun, and it's not fun to have things plugged up. So I wish you a really good harvest. Use the time when you're sitting on that seat for many, many hours to think about how you want your life and your management and your communication on your farm to be better. See you next time.